All right, so this is a very positional or at least focused explanation for what we kind of expect and what to keep in mind if you find yourself playing in the attacking three within that 4-3-3 formation. And essentially, as always, we will always be looking to change our dynamic, change our mindset for the different phases of play. You can also overlay the difference in when we have the ball, we don't have the ball, when the ball is maybe in transition. But today we're focusing on when we have the ball. So generally, when we're in this middle phase of play or the build-up phase, it's really important. This also is for the build-up, so that defensive third. It's really important that the front three, and in particular that center forward, who will generally have two people, either alternating between marking or two people, defenders both marking that one center forward. We have to make sure that they're constantly on their toes and constantly moving. And so we have to be going backwards to pull and make that gap. So we have a bit of space between what would be a midfielder and the center back. The closer these two lines of defense are, the harder it is for us to play. If our center forward can keep making this movement up here, the defenders have to follow. That makes it easier for our midfielders to come and occupy this space and play their football. That being said, that is the one sort of off the ball, and when you're not too involved in play, structural change we want to see. But we also want to see that we can go up, but then come back, up and back, be dynamic, and making sure that we can actually be part of any build-up play with our midfielders. We don't just want our midfielders having to circulate through themselves. If the center forward can come and with their back to goal, play to a bounce pass, maybe a little triangle pass with our midfielders, that's fantastic. It's really going to allow us to get that numerical advantage in play. It's fine if the defender then comes with us, because a lot of the time, if we do drop deep and play with midfielders and defenders come, you'll actually open up channels here. So ball comes back in, it then goes out here. We now see there's a big gap here that we can run on. We have a good scoring chance. The movement of this center forward, a lot of the time you'll realize that as a center forward, you don't get the ball as often as probably any other player on the pitch, maybe outside the goalkeeper. That is just part of the play, but your off the ball movement is so important. If you can disrupt the back line, and the center forward has the most ability to do that, you can make opportunities for our teammates, and always, if not making those opportunities, you'll make the space for us to play. Pulling the back line is probably outside of scoring goals, the most important thing a center forward can do. And dictating and making sure that they can't actually find that space to play their own football. They have to be constantly following and being aware of where that center forward is. Once we get really good at this, it's when we start saying, okay, cool, can I sort of do this? Can I lose this player? And can I make those really smart runs in behind to actually receive balls? Cool. So that's what happens in the middle of the park, especially when we've got that ball from a midfielder. If the ball is at a winger, I'm happy for you to make this run into the channel to essentially have that ball played down the line. That stops as soon as we go into the final third. Yeah, as soon as we're in the attacking third. It's only available when we're in this in the middle of the park or in our defensive third. And that reason for that is we don't want this ball coming too early and trying to go around here over the top. Don't get me wrong, it can happen and we can get through and link onto it, but it's just a very hard pass to play, and it's even harder to take that down for this a center forward to get on the end of it, take it down, and then get a good shooting opportunity without these two coming in intercepting. So when we're in build up in the middle of the park, yes, you can run in here, and you'll find that either the winger then cuts in to become the striker where we can play back, or we, as a center forward with the ball, we'll actually turn around, circle back, and look into midfield or into our fullback who's come up, and then we can play up again. This is about getting small bits of progression. It's not about those attacking opportunities that we play with the final ball. Now, talking about the final ball comes when we're in this attacking third. So you can see here, this is the division. This is our attacking third. This is where we want to be making goal scoring opportunities and where we want to be pinning the opposition back, where we can make those attacks. The really important thing to note here is that sometimes when the winger gets the ball up in this corner, we don't want to be coming into this space. So we come into this space, we can play little triangles, but as soon as we get the opportunity to get a cross back, which is what we're trying to do, there's not going to be anyone here. Also, defenders start crowding, and it just doesn't become a good way to actually get a genuine opportunity. Genuinely, when a winger has the ball here, and let's say the fullback goes out, we want to be getting, again, in between the two centre backs, getting into this position so this player has to check their shoulder. They can't actually go out and support them because they know if they do, a little dink can go over, maybe 1-2, and then they're in for goal. As we always practice, and as we're really trying to do, is this ball generally has to go to a centre mid or a fullback. What we do there is we take these players out of the game. If this defender's had to come here because our centre forward's stretched, that means that this ball back in to a 1-2 with the winger can always happen. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's the best thing we can do in these scenarios, and these scenarios will happen quite a lot with teams that want to sit in that low block. So we're pulling those defenders. Remember that we're making this opportunity that if this ball comes down to the right back or maybe across to the center mid, we've actually got gaps. Yeah, because in this stage now we've got a player here, so this center mid can look up and see that there's gaps. If this player's come across, we're not looking at a gap. We're looking at a very congested side of the pitch, and there's not going to be actual opportunities to get a shot away there anyway. We want to make these players spread wide. So we've got this gap, and this gap is nice and wide. And that's where our players can exploit. So that one might be tight because the centre back's got tight. This player now has the opportunity to take a shot. That's the importance around that. Also, if this player tends to manage, and we've made this run in behind to stretch this player, we then also have the opportunity to, okay, now there's a passing channel. We're going to run in front, but that's because we've stretched first. We've gone back with them, pulled that defender, and then now as soon as we see that a cross is probably going to come in, that's when we get in front. That's when we now have that quick change of direction, and we're running to the front of our defender to make sure that that pass can get a touch and we can shoot. Cool. I want to keep this one nice and short. I think that's it. Yep. Just a little bit of talk on positioning. Again, just to recap, when we're in the middle or when the ball's in the middle of the park as the center forward, once we've done our stretching, which we do as a off the ball maneuver when we know the ball's not in our sort of area, but as soon as it comes to a center mid or maybe a right back that's come in or a winger that's come into the middle space, we're going to come deep for them. And we do that, as you can see here, defensive third and the progressive third until we get to the final third, which is where we get a bit more selfish, and we actually start facing goal more. Until that, I always want you to be facing like back to goal and facing play, so you can be part of play and part of build up. That being said, you can get those those through balls, but this should be our priority: playing with midfield, having a numerical advantage, and then off the ball, when the ball's not in our area or our zone, we're pulling defenders and making sure that we're making space, opening up gaps for our teammates. And then when the ball's out wide, yes, let's go grab it. Let's go get involved. But this stops again once we get to the final third. Because in the final third, we don't want to get pulled out. We essentially are in the width of the box, if not narrower, and we're making sure that these centre backs have a really hard time trying to catch us as we move laterally, open up channels for wingers, centre mids, and everyone to exploit, or them to, say, for example, our winger takes on that right back, that player goes past, this player has to go. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, you've actually got a really nice straight shooting opportunity. Cool. All right, I'll leave it at that. Any questions, let me know.